Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I think, yeah, I just arrived yesterday from Mumbai. So, was it yesterday? Yeah. Yeah, I arrived yesterday, so my schedule is thrown off. So, reading from the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, Book 1, Chapter 7, Text 85. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tato nyābhiś devībhir etad evānumoditam. Sātrājitī paraṁ māna gehaṁ tad-asahāviśat. Uddhava said the other queens all agreed. Only Satya bhāmā, Sātrājitī, unable to tolerate those words, entered her chamber of anger. Om jnana-timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya taksu unmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha Sri Chaitanya manobhishtam stapitam yena bhutale Sayam rupa kadamayam dadati sapadantikam pancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayevacha patithanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So greetings from New Jersey. I'm happy to be back. I have all facilities here. Of course, we had such a nice, I think I explained it on well, I didn't actually. We had an incredible, wonderful program there in Boca Raton. Lakshmi Nrsimha and his wife, who's a medical doctor, a PhD and an Ayurvedic doctor, and a wonderful, determined devotee. And they absolutely love having me there. We had a program and it was so beautiful. I mean, there were at least 50 people. Just a few Indians, combination of mostly yogis, not even devotees, but people he's been cultivating, and Russians. A lot of Russians in that West Palm Beach type area. I mean, yeah, they tend to gravitate there. The ones that have money and want to get out of the winter. Beautiful property and great kirtans. Avi Prabhu, godbrother, won 2 Latin Grammy Awards, but more, he's such a beautiful, kirtan singer. And people appreciated my class. And my class was about that contentment is dependent on clear perception, that reality is beautiful, and then I began to show how yoga, dharma, karma yoga, and shastra, how they all elevate one's perception. And the clearer you see things, the less fearful you are. Anyway, it was nice. And it was a new something for me, because he told me, I like to speak on Rasa Shastra, but he told me there's so many new people there. So you have to speak something that's interesting to everyone. So it was a great stay. really great stay. And in terms of the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, because there's some people that don't come both days, I kind of speak on the same subject, but kind of maybe even sometimes in a deeper way. So we'll continue to discuss this, but we'll go further and further than we did on Sunday. But again, this objective of both Lord Chaitanya and, of course, Sanatana Goswami, he's to propagate the mission of Lord Chaitanya. So his thing is, he's just communicating what Lord Chaitanya wants to give, which is this understanding of Raganuga Bhakti, to increase God's devotion within this world. And it's something that hasn't been given for a very long time. We describe how long? 14 times 71 times 4,320,000 times 2. That's how long it's been since it's given. Therefore, it is not even Shastra that's written to, besides the Bhagavatam, but nothing that's given that illustrates these feelings even. They had to be written for Lord Chaitanya to do his bhajan. And this Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta is the first book written. It's the first book written. So it's the basis of all the other Goswami books. And it's presenting this, because the first thing you have to do is have tattva, then you have rasa. Tattva means you have to know that this is the highest thing, and therefore understand and feel it as the highest thing. Otherwise, it'll be filtered through your own prejudices and misconceptions. So unless you have some bandha gyan, a firm basis of philosophical understanding, when you hear these things, you won't be hearing these things, you'll be hearing your misconceptions of those things. So he's to present this tattva and not only present it, but make one feel this tattva. And he's doing it by, well, in so many ways, but now by the glorification of the queens of the gopis. Because in this particular thing, when Krishna came back from New Vrindavan, you've all been here with me, so you know what the story is. He came back from New Vrindavan, and the queens, hiding behind the trees because they didn't want to destroy the rue, were ecstatic to see their husband even more beautiful, even though it was in relationship to the gopis. So, and it's also something, it's really a literary philosophical point that when you want to present something as the highest, you have to show that the competitors are not, like the Bhagavatam. They have stories of Lord Brahma Vimohan Lila. They have stories of Lord Shiva, the Vishnu Dwaras to the Shiva Dwara. So you have to have those things. And it's very, very powerful. So it's not that the queens are competitors, but in people's minds, swakiya, ras, marriage with God. But we're presenting parakiya. Swakiya means to do with your own. Parakiya means to do with another. That this parakiya, which is perverted in this world, but intense. So the intensity of the forms are there, but the intensity of the forms in the material world are the intensity of selfishness and lust. The intensity of the forms in the spiritual world, the same forms, are the intensity of devotion and love. And it's proven by the queens because they're not even envious. Anyway, when Krishna comes back, he comes back, he's now revived, he understands that Lord Brahma's plan to put him in New Vrindavan to relieve his separation of the gopis, and then to do it in such a way that they can awaken him to his mission in Dwarka of protect, Paritanaya sadhunam vinashaya, to protect the devotees and annihilate the demons. So he's coming back to his palace, and he's coming to see the queens, and then Padmavati, who's a bit envious, just in nature, I think, is she Kamsa's mother, I think. Yeah. And I think the wife of Ugrasena, yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's Kamsa's mother. And she says to Mother Devaki and Rukmini and Satyabhama, you are nothing compared to these gypsy girls that roam the forest. Like really, like we go like this, really like rub it in. But they say yes, and then Devaki says, and he tells the whole story of Nanda and her praying and performing austerities in Nanda, and where they wanted a son like Krishna, they wanted to serve Krishna, and they're higher, and Devaki and Satyabhama, not Satyabhama, but Devaki, Rukmini, the queens say, yes, we're filled with social obligations and duties, etc., and formality, but they left all this to see Krishna. So it points out in a very literary and spiritual way, and such a profound way, again, the gopis, they're the highest. And now Krishna wants to see Satyabhama, but she has this contrary mood, which is part of Krishna's pleasure in the conjugal ras, but pure. It's actually pure love. It's not this thing in the material world of material jealousy and material, trophy wife to material, this kind of stuff. No, it's a very spiritual thing, and therefore in the Shastra it says only those who are fortunate can relish this without misunderstanding it. We have that fortune by the mercy of Prabhupada and Gopi Pranadhan and Jayadvaita Maharaj, who presented these things in a masterful way. So Krishna, he Satyabhama, he can be a little bit, in that kind of relationship, you're a little bit afraid sometimes of those left-wing romantic ladies. But she crossed the red line because she's not respecting the gopis, and Krishna will not have it. So he ordered, bring the daughter of the foolish king here. Bring the daughter of the foolish queen here. Satyabhama, most expert in the arts of amorous love, was always ready to skillfully serve her husband in the mood of jealous pride, knowing him also to be fully conversant with the skill of love and eager to enjoy with the cowherd women. So there's always this sense of let Krishna be pleased by what I do. But there's also a sense that you really feel it, otherwise it won't have the same intensity and it won't have the same flavor. So it's a combination. So she's expert, vidagdha, expert in amorous love, abhimana, in jealous pride, seva, in service, chatuyata, by her skill, to nandiyatam, pravita, to give pleasure to Krishna in this way. So, upon hearing this order from her maidservants, The intelligent Satyabhama got up, bathed, and quickly came before Krishna. So she's a queen. She has maidservants. And they tell him, Krishna, you've crossed the line now. You better get over there quickly. She got up, bathed, and quickly came to see Krishna. She hid herself behind a pillar and stood there, filled with shame and fear. Krishna noticed her and, still angry, spoke to her in a clear voice. And then it mentioned that Krishna could smell her fragrance even though she wasn't there, because the fragrance is a manifestation of the Ladini Shakti, Mahabhav, this type of devotion. It's an offering to Krishna. So their fragrance is filled with love. And because it's the supreme love, it's so powerful and so, it's the supreme fragrance. So, and now the Supreme Lord, he's going to chastise her. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Are Sātrājitī Kshina, Chite Mano Yatatvaya, Kriyate Rukmini Prapta, Parijatari Hetuka, Tata Vraja Janeshwasmin, Nirbhara Pranayadapi, Avare Kim Najanasi, Mam tad ichānusadinam. The Supreme Lord said, O weak-minded Sātrājitī, just as you grew angry when Rukmini obtained special favors like the Parijata flower, now you are angry at our intense love for the people of Vraja. Silly women, don't you know that I'm ruled by their desires? Now this is because this last chapter in this section, how beautiful it is. It's coming to the point of Krishna going to explain why to Satyabhama, why they're so special. So we had it first from Uddhava, then there was the Satyabhama and Rukmini and Rohini, and then they had the Rohini and Balaram in different ways. Always this glories of the gopis, either they're glorious because they're so devastated showing their love. Well, they both think they're devastated, but one thinks that that's not really, how is that Krishna's mercy? And another one says, look how devastated, that must be Krishna's mercy. And that'll be resolved here, how in fact it is Krishna's mercy. Displeased with Satyabhama, Krishna remembered that her father had sometimes acted foolishly. Okay. Don't you know I'm ruled by the desires? Krite sarva parityaje tair bhadram yadi mandyate sapete smin kshane satyam tataiva kriyate. If the people of Vraja thought it good that I renounce everything, I promise you that in a moment I would just do that. He said, no, I just leave you in a second. If they told me, I'd leave you in a second. If we were to take these words seriously, Krishna would not hesitate to abandon his wife, his children, and everyone else in Dwarka if that would make the Vrajvasis happy. But we should also take into account that a solemn vow is usually made only before someone in whom one has firm trust, and this means that Satyabhama also is very dear to Krishna. So he'd leave everything, and therefore only the most fortunate can relish this, because it invokes all kinds of feeling. You can imagine someone who's been abandoned by their husband or something. There's all kinds of reasons. Or someone who's very puritanical, or someone who's very much into the rules and the regulate. Now this is getting really challenging to accept. And understanding it's all in the eternal potency. Everything here is done for love. There's no I'm leaving you because I don't like, no, I love you also. I'm telling this in confidence. It's all love, and there's no real envy deep down in the heart. So it's not going to hurt them if Krishna says, I love them more. They're only concerned about Krishna, so they're happy. Ashlishyava pararatam panastumam madarshanam mamahatam haprotiva. You may make me brokenhearted before, being before me. You may not be, you may crush me by your embrace. It's unconditional love. This is the reasonability of this conception of the absolute truth, that it's real love. There's no ego involved. So even if there's these forms of eroticism and anger and depression and lamentation, you can't judge it by our experience here of those emotions. So it just must be the most intense love in this drama. Stavyata brahmanoktam yad Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta natam misha tesham pratyupakareham ashakto to maharini. The praise offered by the Venerable Bṛhma was not spoken in vain. I can never repay these devotees, so I'm utterly indebted to them. So Krishna's heart now, who's the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy? Who's entered Krishna's heart, just like in Prabhupada's last days when he said he was leaving the world and we came to his room. He was talking about Jayananda. Real affection. He helped me so much. Because at that time, everyone was kind of hippies. He doesn't seem like he was a hippie at all. And he was able to give $5,000 to print the Krishna book. Which hippie had $5,000? The Nectar of Devotion. So Prabhupada said he helped me so much, so Prabhupada put him on the Vaishnava calendar. Amazing. And anybody who met Jayananda would understand that he was just at a different level. Saintly. He was so saintly. When I first came to the temple, and my friends and me, we're traveling California, and before Prabhupada, we didn't know what the hell we were doing in life. When I look back, how living without any knowledge and understanding, we didn't know what we were doing, what we were trying to find in California. And what we were trying to find in California. But anyway, we wound up in this parking lot of a football stadium. We also used to do the parking lot to the Frederick Street Temple. And he happened to be the temple president at the time. And we can just see, I remember one time I walked in and he was talking to some nuns and some immigrants from Poland or Russia, the way those, they dress like that, and you can see his heart trying to share with them Krishna consciousness. You could see his sincerity. Yeah. Even when they revived the Rath Yatra and they had to get permission in San Francisco, because he used to go around and beg things from people, and and they came to that, and they say what his name is Jayananda, so he said his name was Johnny Ananda. So when he came, so they went, and they came to one person to get a permit. It was like 15 years later, but it was the same person. She said, "What happened to that Johnny Ananda?" And they said he passed away, and she started crying. She said, "He was the nicest man I've ever met. Dhira dhira janapriyo priyakaro nimatsuro pujatao." they're just dear to the gentle and ruffians. Yeah, even when he was working on the Rath Yatra, he had leukemia and he was dying, and he was, he was Mr. Rath Yatra. He started the Rath Yatra. So to have the Rath Yatra down Fifth Avenue was the culmination of his service. And you see those pictures of him. Like walking in front of the cart. This is like the last weeks of his life or something. Walking in front of that cart. And, he was working nonstop. And somehow they say, did you eat? He said, I ate. And he took some of the grease from the wheel that he was making and put on his tongue, indicating that his prasad was something like that, was the service of Prabhupada. And he was the kind of person, I think, I'm with Jack, I think Guna Maharaj's disappearance is in 2 weeks or something.
I'm not sure the date.
Yeah, it's coming up. But Guna Maharaj was like that, they used to call him his homies. Mm-hmm. Just people that no one else could inspire, these people,
Mm-hmm.
So Jayananda had that crew and had them, working on the Rath Yatra carts and inspiring them. So, I forgot what the point, but anyway, Krishna is the all-powerful Supreme Lord. His commander of boundless energies, ready to fulfill his every desire, but he cannot repay debt of his gratitude to his devotees in Sri Vrindavan. Thus, he constantly looks for small favors he can do for them as tokens of his affection. As Brahma stated while praising Krishna's excellent. So here he's saying Brahma spoke. We can never, praise offered by was not spoken in vain. Somehow Brahma said, so this is what Brahma said, my mind becomes bewildered just trying to think of what reward other than you can be found anywhere. You are the embodiment of all benedictions, which you shower upon these residents of the cowherd community of Vrindavan. You have already arranged to give yourself Putana and her family members in exchange for disguising herself as a devotee. So what is left for you to give these devotees of Vrindavan, whose home, wealth, friends, bodies, children, dear relations, and very lives and hearts are dedicated to you? These are Brahma's prayers. Jack, for lunch, I may add a little of the dal of that sabji there.
Sure.
All right?
Yeah.
When was it cooked? Just
Sunday?
Oh, just before I came.
Yeah.
So, what is left to give these devotees? Naparayeham. That's the famous verse where the gopis come to Krishna and are ready to give up everything. Naparayeham, I cannot repay you. You'll have to be satisfied with the activity itself. And that's really what love is. The only satisfaction is not what you get for it, but the pleasure of the other person. So, this is, Krishna's just telling. Yadi cha pritaye te sham tattayami vasami cha tatapi kim api swastyam bhavyam nalochayam yaham. But even if for their pleasure I were to return to live with them, I don't see how that would help. And that's going to be explained. And that was one of the really, the confusing, why didn't Krishna come back? Even though he loved them so much and they were suffering. He describes why it wouldn't help them, because he'd have to stay there for some time and they're so sensitive that seeing him after being in separation and coming out of half consciousness, their first feeling will he may go again. So he said that would be like even worse separation. Mad ikshanad eva vigada bhavo dayena labdha vikalava mohan nadahikam kinchana te nadeham vidurna chatmanam aho kimanyat. Just by seeing me, they become so dazed and bewildered by ecstasies from deep within that they fail to recognize their own body and everything that has to do with their body, what to speak of the rest of the world. It's going to be, their separation from me is so great. And if I come back, the shock is going to be too much that they'll practically leave their bodies. They're just not going to have any concern. Anything, the world, nothing. They'll be so bewildered of bhava, by the bhavodayena, by the rising of bhava. They become vikala, so distressed. Vimohan, so confusing that Vidu, they recognize nothing of themselves. Purport: as soon as the devotees of Vraja see Krishna's beauty, their prema transforms into intense ecstasy, manifest in their bodies as trembling, perspiring, and other sattvika symptoms. These devotees then enter a trance of bewilderment, losing their external consciousness. In this state, called vimohan, the most exceptional trance, Vishishtam Mohan, the exceptional trance, the Supreme Person reveals himself in full and his attributes and associate. This state, therefore, lies far beyond the partial realization of the truth attained by impersonalists in their ordinary samadhi with its artificial background of voidness. The masculine pronoun te, they, here indicates all the Vrajavasis, both male and female, or else Krishna is really talking only about his female devotees, the young gopis, but avoids using the feminine pronouns ta, because in the present company he does not want to talk about them openly. So Krishna has pronouns. In either case, when the Vrajvasis see him, they forget their bodies and everything connected with them, family, social position, responsibilities, and so on. They forget whatever plans they may have for success in this life and next. Therefore, since the Vrajvasis, upon seeing Krishna again, would lose all contact with reality, Krishna sees no hope in restoring them to health by returning. His going back would make their condition worse. So this is why Krishna didn't get back, and that was such a puzzle if he loved them. So this is being resolved now. Trishte pishamyen maitanadhukam vicheda chinta kulitatmanam vai harshaya tesham kriyate vidiryo tukam nasadhyo dviguni karoti. Is that bringing incense to work there?
No, my mom's friend wanted some now champa.
Oh, okay. So you go to your mother for lunch today?
No,
Oh.
I'll just drop it off at some
Okay.
point.
So their pain won't be relieved. Even if they see me, their hearts will be so disturbed by thoughts of separation from me that whatever measures I take for their happiness will only double their grief. Purport: in their trance of separation, the devotees of Vraja are aware of nothing but Krishna. Their ecstasy is so deep that as a natural effect of remembering Krishna, they see him physically before them. Other pure devotees whose love for Krishna is not on the same level of perfection have separate experiences of him internally and externally. Now, I'm going to finish with this. This is very, very deep, because this is explaining that, I'm going to read it again, that the separation that's found in Vrindavan, where there is this spontaneous love, unchecked by reverence or fear, obligation, the separation from that, it is unique in Vraj. In their trance of separation, the devotees of Vraj are aware of nothing but Krishna. Their ecstasy is so deep that as a natural effect of remembering Krishna, they see him physically before them. So in their separation, they also see Krishna. Other pure devotees whose love for Krishna is not on the same level of perfection have separate experiences of him internally and externally. But the internal separation manifests externally, because the separation is of consciousness, and it's so intense. Dhruva, for example, concentrated his mind on Lord Vishnu in deep meditation, but his internal vision of the Lord did not expand into a vision outside like that of the gopis. Only when Lord Vishnu came to Dhruva to offer him special mercy did the Lord disappear from Dhruva's heart to show himself externally, as described in the 4th canto of the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. Savaidya yoga vipaka tivraya hit padma koshe spuritam tadit prabham taro gehaṁ sahas saivo valakshya bahistitam tad avastam dadarsha. The form of the Lord, which was brilliant like lightning, and on which Dhruva Maharaj, in his mature yogic process, was fully absorbed in meditation, all of a sudden disappeared. Thus Dhruva was perturbed and his meditation broke. But as soon as he opened his eyes, he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally present, just as he had been seeing the Lord in his heart. So somehow the internal and the external is separated, but in Vraj, consciousness, you're separated, but somehow you're in union. The full vision of Krishna's beauty relished by the Vrajvasis is the ultimate fruit of spiritual perfection. One might suggest, therefore, that if Krishna was to present himself once more before the Vrajvasis, their condition will certainly improve. This might be true, but to recover from the intense pain of separation would take some time. And the Vrajvasis, thinking Krishna might leave them again, might relapse into their trance of separation. Therefore, Krishna thinks that returning to them would only cast them deeper into suffering. So they're in such intense mood that they think the thought that Krishna may leave again after being separated, and that thought he may leave again would be so disturbing that their condition would be worse. The painful anxiety of separation from Krishna puts the atmas of the Vrajvasis, meaning their hearts, their bodies, and the very essence of their being, into turmoil. When a person has not eaten for a long time, the vital elements of his body are depleted, so that even after obtaining food, he takes time to recover. He does not recover simply by having food placed before him. He has to eat, and in a manner that does not make him sicker. Then he has to wait for the nourishment to be distributed in his body. Similarly, Krishna thinks the Vrajvasis will not recover just by seeing me. They will have to enjoy pastimes with me, and not only a short time, but as long as needed to fulfill their desires. I fear that this will prove impossible. Since I too have many things to take care of elsewhere, I'm incapable of curing them. Even if Krishna's concern was unfounded, if he were to treat their disease of separation by returning to them, they would remain susceptible to agitation, thinking he may leave again. Their anxiety, being an essential part of their very existence, cannot be cured even by his personal darshan. As Krishna indicates by the word bhai, he knows this from his own experience with the devotees of Vrindavan. And so also do the devotees he is speaking to in Dwarka. As Sukadeva Goswami relates in Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta in the last chapter of the 10th canto, 10:19-15, after Krishna's queens enjoyed water sports with Krishna, the queens mourned. Okay, I'm going to finish here, and on Sunday we'll finish this purport. Jamuna Jaya.
Hare Krishna Raj. Thank you for class. It's been great getting to the big conclusion after all this time.
Yeah, we worked on it hard. Yeah.
It's like, dude, here it is. I was just really reflecting on the point of what Krishna is saying is, even if I'm there, they will think that I'm going to leave again. And I'm thinking about something they call it anticipatory grief. I've had workshops in it, and it's almost worse. It's like, oh my God, it's going to happen again. So I really understand what Krishna is saying there. I can't see them. And then just that thought of, oh my God, it's going to happen again. And that's something that we all do on a material plane. So I really love that point a lot.
Yeah. I know one person, he's a bit older, but his son is only 9. So his son, has that worry that how long will his father live? So
yeah.
That's also, the father's there, but the separation. So that when one day the father didn't come up to pick the kid up from school, and the mother came and said, the kid said his dad's still alive. So you can actually see that. Yeah. Okay. Gail. Haribo.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Haribo.
Yeah. Just a couple things. Well, one thing I was thinking just now is that, we always talk about Arjuna being in that damned if I do, damned if I don't situation. But this is Krishna's damned if I do.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
If he stays back, they suffer and he gets criticized. If he goes, he makes it worse. But what's said in the purport that's nice is that this is part of the existential reality. So it's part of the churning of and keeping the love, and it's a bob. It's not just an intellectual thing. They're swimming in an emotion. And although it may have different forms, it's basically non-dual in the sense that it's a transcendental ecstasy.
You called it an existential reality.
It means that it's not like a moment this happens. This is how they are. It's eternally within them. That's what it said in the purport.
Okay, Maharaj, this Satya bhāmā Leela, from years ago, right? This problem is not going away from me. But it got compounded today because when you said that, the gopis, not the gopis, I'm sorry, the queens. Yeah. The queens, they don't have any envy. So if Krishna tells them, if the gopis want me to go back, I'm leaving you. There's it's just too bad. I'm gone. Regardless of how you feel about me, I'm gone. And so the queens don't have any envy, so they don't have any problem with him saying that. But I have a problem with Krishna saying that. Even though he knows, still, even though he knows that they're not envious.
Gail, wouldn't it be wonderful?
Sensitivity on his part.
Gail, wouldn't it be wonderful if the spiritual world worked according to the same laws as the material world, so you wouldn't be confused?
Well, it doesn't have to happen like that, but I just want to understand what looks like insensitivity on his part.
Because everything is done from a higher platform of selflessness and love. That's why. And everything's invoking rasa. Rasa is the highest thing. So everything that's said in the jealousy of Satya bhāmā or Krishna's response to them is only increasing transcendental ecstasy for everyone.
Oof. Yeah, I'll just have to take your word for that one, Maharaj. Okay.
Okay. Haribo. Anybody else like to say hello today?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Tota Gopinath here. Great to have you back.
Thanks, Tota. Haribo.
Haribo.
Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. It's all Govinda.
I'm Bṛhad. Thank you for class.
Thank you for class.
Thanks for coming on class. This is what students should do. They should hear from the teacher, and this is good stuff,
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are people in Krishna consciousness for if they're not going to hear regularly, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Otherwise, you don't know what it's about. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, it's Yvette. Thank you for class. You're right. This is really good stuff.
It's good
So
stuff.
happy to be here.
Right. Thanks for coming. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Haribo. Amen. Thank you. Haribo. Thank you.
Thank you for class.
Hi. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Tavat Sundari.
Okay. You are in Kish?
Kish.
Or I
Yeah.
recognized from the background. Okay.
Yeah,
Any-
Maharaj, that's okay. I'm going to Vancouver on 12th of September. Everything is fine now.
You got it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
How long will you be teaching there?
1 year, Maharaj.
Are you excited?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I came to Kish to, organize everything and go back to Tehran to go to Vancouver on 12th of September. Thank you very much for your blessing.
Okay.
I think you did it, Maharaj, for me. Yeah, that was your blessing that at the end it was
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Thank you
Great.
very much.
Great. That's great.
Thank
That's
you.
going to be nice. Okay. Hemalata, Haribo.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, it's so nice to see you. And I also, that we read on the book, Krishna said, I am incapable of curing them.
Incapable.
How is that possible?
What?
How is that possible? If Krishna cannot cure us, who can?
But because Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he enjoys the highest love. And that love must be so high that even he cannot reciprocate it. But that's his glory. Just like, how is it? If Krishna is not controlled by his devotees, he's impersonal. So his perfection is that his love is greater than him.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much for class.
Everything going okay with Giriraj?
Yes. Do you want darshan, Maharaj?
Yes, we'll take darshan. Okay. Wow, huh? So you have Giriraj there. That's wonderful.
It's far, but
Yeah, that's okay. No, that's great. That's great. Okay, Haribo.
Hare
Good.
Krishna Maharaj. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Krishna-katha. Thank you so
Haribo.
much for the class.
Thank you for always being on the classes.
I enjoy it.
I know, I see that. I will look down the list of people. So I see everybody that's coming. I'm just blessing everyone that's come and listened to the class. I'm so grateful. Okay. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bheva